Hey everyone, it's Alexis here and welcome back to my Florist YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to make a simple holiday centerpiece that you can use for Thanksgiving or any event that you need a fall centerpiece for. When I'm making any centerpiece, the first thing you want to pick is what kind of vessel or vase do you want to use. So I've got two different containers that I'm going to show with you guys today. So the first one, this is like a clear glass 5x5 cube vase. The other vase option that we have today is also our ceramic container. So if I'm doing like a more modern look, something that's a little bit nicer, I'll definitely opt to using a ceramic vase because these just look nicer, they're higher quality. You can actually repurpose these vases and put plants in them. You could put your makeup brushes in them. They could simply just be a nice accent to your shelf at your home. We are going to be using a grid with tape to help secure our flowers from moving around. So either vase that you pick is going to be fine because the tape is clear. But today we are going to be working with the ceramic container because I do find that ceramic containers and the arrangements that I make in them tend to just look 10 times better in a nicer vase. So the first step in creating our arrangement today, we're going to actually create a tape grid. So what I'm going to be doing first is I'm just going to be taking pieces of this clear Scotch tape here, and we're going to be creating a 2x2 grid. So the benefit of using the tape is that it'll give some structure for your flowers to sit in, and when you add the stems and the foliage to the base, things won't fly and fall out of the arrangement. And then I like to just take one big piece of tape and I like to put it all the way around. And that's just going to really help and secure your grid. Then I just like to take and pinch the tape up. I find that when I don't do this, the stems can get stuck on the sticky side of the tape here, and that just makes it really hard to work with. This is going to give a nice area and space for our flowers to sit in, and it's going to allow all the stems to not just fall out of the vase. So what I'm going to be doing first, just to get a base going, is I'm just going to be adding in some greenery to help get the shape and design of our arrangement. Now, when you are creating a centerpiece, you want to be thinking this arrangement to be like low and long. So I'm thinking more of like an oval shape rather than having something come tight all the way around. So when you are at a dinner table, you know you're sitting at this table like not eye level, but almost eye level to the arrangement. So when you are designing, you really want to keep in mind and create an arrangement that you can see over the person across from the table. You really want to be able to make sure that they can have a full conversation without having the arrangement get in their way. So even as I'm greening up, I'm going to keep in mind the shape of my arrangement. So I'm adding my two longest pieces on either side first, and then we will work our way closer towards the center of the vase. So any leaves that are going to touch the water, we're just going to pull off because we only want to be working and adding stems into our vase. You never want to be adding any types of like leaves or things like that. Anything that's going to cause mold and bacteria in the water, you just want to pull off. Alright. So now we can start adding in flowers and greenery towards like the sides and the center of the arrangement here. The first thing we're going to be doing first is creating our shape and adding in our lime flowers. So this is called leucadendron. Now these pieces are a little bit more greener, but if you can see, some of these pieces are a bit red, and I really enjoy using this because it just kind of gives us like that fall look. So what I'm doing here is I'm just prepping my stems. So I'm just cutting off anything that's dead, and I'm also going to be pulling off any leaves that are going to be touching the surface of the water. Again, guys, you really just want to make sure you're inserting stem into the water. I'm just going to cut all these individual pieces. and treat them as their own separate piece. So just off that one piece of leucadendron, we got like 4 different or 3 different flowers. So pretty good if you ask me. You're really getting your money's worth. So once you've got your stems prepped and ready, there's no more leaves on the stems, then you can start inserting into your arrangement. So I'm going to start by just adding leucadendron on one side of my vase, and then slowly start to add some pieces on the other side. I'm going to insert one piece. And I always like to cluster my flowers into 2s and 3s. I find that odd numbers look most pleasing to the eye.
Do you love me, Matthew?
I do.
Honestly?
Yes. Secretly, but honestly.
No more secrets.
So I'm going to add I think I'm going to add 5 pieces on this one side here, and then add more pieces on the other side. Now I still do have these other 3 pieces that I'm going to use, but I'm probably going to just use them just a little bit later. Alright, now to help balance out this side, so whenever you're designing, you always want to keep the 7 principles of floral design in mind. So one of the principles on that is balance. So whenever you are creating an arrangement, you always want to make sure that everything is balanced from one side to another. So as of right now, we've got very unbalanced arrangement, so there's nothing going on this side. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this solidago onto the right side of my arrangement. Now you also want to make sure you are rotating your arrangement and working on all sides, just so you can see it from a different perspective and see if you need to add anything.
I do.
Honestly?
Yes. Secretly, but honestly.
No more secrets.
Okay. Now I am going to add a piece of solidago coming out on this side of my arrangement. So the reason why I put back this piece is because this piece naturally wants to lean this way, but this piece naturally wants to lean this way. So I'm going to opt to use this piece of solidago first because of the way that he naturally leans and wants to go. So once we add our solidago throughout our arrangement, I'm just going to go back and add in more of these leucadendron pieces just to really help accentuate that shape of my design. I'm going to just start taking these pieces and bringing them over to the right side. I do have some of these really pretty peach mums. So whenever I think fall, I always think mums, I always think solidago. Now I'm a florist, so that's just the first things that come to my mind. So I'm going to definitely make sure that I incorporate some of these seasonal mums into my arrangement. So whenever I'm adding my flowers, I'm always going to add my bigger, heavier flowers more closer towards the center of my arrangement, because I really want my eye to draw in towards the center. So I'm going to start by clustering my peach mums towards the center in groups of 2s and 3s. So I think I'm going to just start with the 3, and then if I want to go through and add more, I'll go through and add more. So something I also like to do is I just like to get eye level with my arrangement and see where I need blooms. So I'm noticing this piece of green comes out just a little bit too far. Now you also just want to keep in mind the height of your arrangement. Again, you want to be able to see over this arrangement while you're sitting at the dinner table, you know, eating and talking to someone. Now I was able to get my hands on some of these beautiful red roses. So we're going to add some of these red roses just to help bring out the colors of fall. So I'm really working with like your traditional fall colored palette, like your reds, your oranges, and your yellows.
I do.
Honestly,
Yes. Secretly, but not publicly.
no more
Now you
secrets.
just want to pull off any nasty guard petals. The guard petals help protect the rose, but unfortunately they just get gross. So you just pull those petals right off to reveal the beautiful rose in the center. Okay, so for me, I've got kind of like an ombre palette coming along. So we've got like the darker colors over here coming over to the lighter colors. So I think I'm going to just accentuate that by adding in some of these roses just to kind of help build out that area some. Now I'm just snipping off any of the thorns, cutting off any leaves, because like I said before guys, you don't want any leaves touching water. Just pull off those guard petals. Now if you find that some of your flowers are moving around in your arrangement, like you're placing things and they're just moving around, you probably just have to add things closer towards the center of your arrangement, and that'll help with the stems just moving around there. So now I'm just going to cluster my red roses onto one side of my vase.
Yes. Secretly, but not publicly.
No more secrets.
So I still have some of these peach mini carnations that I think is going to help give us that like signature look that we all know and love, that garden look. So whenever you are inserting your more like looser airy flowers, I usually like to add those in towards the end just because I don't want things to get lost and things to become broken in the arrangement, just because these loose and airy flowers tend to be a little bit more delicate. Now I'm noticing still like a big empty gap like right in here. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of Solidago just to kind of cover up that hole there. I want to add more of this wheatgrass to this side of my arrangement. So I'm gonna just add this in like one at a time, and I'm gonna just cluster these together. I think in threes is probably gonna be the way that I could do this. I really like adding a little bit of like dried element to the arrangement because I do feel like it gives it more of like a modern feel to it when you add dried materials. This is stuff that you would see on like Pinterest and Instagram. Pretty. I've got some on this side, but I think I'm gonna just add one piece just poking out on this side. Alright guys, so this is our completed centerpiece look. So this is a perfect centerpiece that you can use for any fall occasion. So I used more of like the yellows, the oranges, the peaches to make this arrangement today. So this would be like a centerpiece that you can use for Thanksgiving. If you're having a gathering of people that isn't for Thanksgiving or just an event, whatever you need a holiday centerpiece for, you can opt to make this. If you end up recreating this holiday centerpiece look, definitely tag me on Instagram at flowersbyalexis. I would love to see your creations. If you like floral design tutorials like this, I recommend to subscribe to my YouTube channel here and to join my Florist Academy. On my Florist Academy, I post weekly videos ad-free, so there's no ads. You don't got to worry about things popping up at you. You can just simply watch the videos, and I do list all the flowers, tools, and materials that I use at the start of each video. I will see you all soon in another video. Bye!